Matt, what do you say to the guy or girl who's knows what they want to do? They already have the business plan in their mind. They may not have written it down yet, but they're using the excuses of I got the kids, I got the student loans, I have the mortgage. I'm not able to take the risks that I want to take. I'm held back from that. What do you say to those people?
If you could look at yourself 10 years from now and be happy with living the life that you're living on this, slow, steady path, look back, you're like, I didn't lose anything. If you're happy with that, stay with what you're doing. If you look at your life at 10 years from now and you're going to say, I wish I would have done that, it's time to take that leap. It's time to take that leap. Bring on either somebody who's going to help you get to it. Like, we're surrounding ourselves with people that are experts in different fields. It's not like Matt and Josh came out of the Army and we're like, we're these big time entrepreneurs. No, we surround ourselves with people who are going to help build in that confidence, seek some guidance, some consultants, working with people like you. Then like, this is an expert in their craft. Like, all right, this is what I want to do. I have a plan. I know how I can make this thing happen. I've gone through contingencies. I know some of these planning things that these guys are saying. I've done that, but I'm still a little scared, but I think I can make this happen. Seek a little bit of guidance and then do it. Just take that leap. It's time, trust that the time that you have spent planning and going through that grind, and it's still sitting there and it's weighing on you, and you're not gonna be able to live with yourself in 10 years and watch somebody else on a commercial 10 years from now and be like, oh, that was me. Be the person.
They stole my idea.
Go do it. Exactly. Everybody, somebody said this to me recently. It was like, if you have an idea, somebody else thought of it. Who's going to execute that idea? If you want to be the one to execute that idea and not be like, oh, that was my idea, do it. Go do it.
Yeah. Ideas really are cheap. I know we say that phrase all the time, but I do think it's kind of funny that in the business realm, this whole idea of the NDA, sometimes you got an idea that's so good that like, I can't tell anybody this unless I get them the non-disclosure agreement first. That way they don't steal my great idea. I remember I had the shittiest idea for a business back in like 2012. Maybe I was in my master's at the time and I came up with this whole idea. I'm going to embarrass myself by telling you what it was. I wanted to copyright the term in grace instead of in law. So mother-in-law, but we don't live under the law. We live under grace. I thought all the way through this, right? And I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm going to be a billionaire with this idea. If I copyright this right now, and when this thing catches on fire and steam, I'm going to own it. I'm going to say, I get a piece of you, I get a piece of you. I'm sorry, did you say it, Grace? I'm sorry, did you put that onto an apron that's going to sell to someone? I take 10%. I take 10%. Okay, it's comical now, and I'm embarrassed to even state that I thought this was going to be a life-changing thing for me. But I remember the feeling of going through the process of setting up an entity and making sure, you know what, if I order some stuff from like Custom Ink, whatever it was at the time, and I put this on there, is someone going to steal my idea? Like, I better make sure I get them under NDA before. It sounds so stupid. Then you play this out and you get to where you start coming up with these multi-million-dollar ideas, like actual legitimate ideas. And sometimes the people around you will say, hey, I'm going to sign an NDA based on what you just told me, and you need to make sure that everyone else you told this idea to. And you get to the point where you realize, and you say back to that person, like, I don't care if you hear about the idea or if you decide to run with the idea. This is fucking hard. Yeah. If it was easy, then like, I'd be concerned. I don't really have a business there. Yeah. But like, do your best. Like, go take a stab at it. And sometimes people underestimate how busy everyone else is. We think that they're all like coming to steal our ideas and all of that. It was, I think, Sam Altman, the guy that came up with ChatGPT, and I might be getting this wrong, putting someone else's mind. I think he's the one that said, like, you could have made ChatGPT and put it into a business plan and then put it onto the CEO's desk at Microsoft, Google, and whatever else. Like, it never would have been opened. Like, it just never would have been opened because they're so busy in their own world doing what they're doing. And so we think sometimes these ideas that's where the money is at in the idea. Yeah. And you're so right. It's in the actual execution of that. And execution is hard. And even if there's someone who can do the development of the idea, they don't have the distribution plan figured out. like good luck. Like they're just going to waste their time putting it together if they don't know how to sell it to somebody
Yeah.
on the back end of that too. All right. With all that in mind, I want to close the loop by talking about the stuff you guys are doing right now. What I find so cool about your company is the brand behind it, because with the exception of our lone pilot over here, everyone at Legion Chemicals is a special operator,
Yeah.
right?
Almost, yeah.
Very special.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or
Very special.
Every entity has the founder of it was, yeah.
Okay. So luckily for Josh that you were able to handle that side for this entity.
Oh, yeah, I'm 50.5%.
There we go. But I love this idea, and I think you're a badass too. Okay. I told other people on this trip that I feel like less of a man when I'm around you guys. So I'm just
true.
trying to puff my chest out a little bit more, make it all happen. But the ethos that I know are a part of and the brotherhood behind what you guys are doing. There's the problem you're solving with the chemicals that you have today, the concrete dissolver and the truck wash. But then there's all of this element of who you guys are that makes me want to buy from you. I understand you have the best stuff on the market. Like, tell me about that when it comes to what you're doing with concrete dissolver and the natural methods to make that happen. But I also think it's about who you are. But tell me about the business, what you guys do.
A good buddy of mine got out of the Army, worked with his dad through a chemical company in Missouri. And the problem was concrete removers simply just aren't working. You know, it's a watered down product. They'd been using a product for a while that was better than the competition. So Brandon was like, how do I maximize, or how do I help my dad's business be more efficient? So all of this was originally, he was just helping out his dad, which I find, extremely admirable from our buddy. He wanted to loft
the best
up.
businesses start sometimes, just helping out
It
families.
was just like, how do I solve a problem?
But for someone that doesn't even know like what concrete dissolver is
Yeah.
and who uses it, like define for me,
Right.
like who has this problem and what that is.
So it is primarily for the ready mix industry. Their marketing is their trucks driving down the road. And we didn't really notice that, either one of us, until we started in this industry. And it's amazing how many concrete trucks you see just driving by. It's like, especially in any type of metropolis area, it is crazy the amount of concrete machinery moving around. So their biggest marketing tool is their trucks going by. So they want them to look clean, and it helps with maintenance, et cetera. And a lot of the products that were coming out used to use some older technology, was muriatic acid, melts the concrete right off, but also melts wiring harnesses. There was other issues associated with it, caustic, not good for people. So they moved to more organic acids. And then COVID happened, everybody started diluting more. Basically, the products were ineffective compared to anything that the guys were used to. And the concrete would just start building up on trucks, more problems, not attractive. We have a product that simply melts the concrete off the trucks. It's not caustic, it's organic, you can wash it right down a storm drain, non-hazardous material. It's using the same or similar organic acids, just way more effective. We're teamed up with a really, really talented chemical engineer who's come up with a great product. And, he's part of the Legion team now. And it's been just kind of cool. It's the newest product, and everywhere we go, and we've used it on a multitude of different types of concrete trucks, and just simply the most effective.
Yeah.
So the business plan was, let's just push it into as many yards as possible. Kind of in the last year, been doing well, just selling it to the ready mix industry and getting it into yards.
You talk about the muriatic acid, that this is a replacement for naturally. We talked to a guy yesterday who said that he worked with muriatic acid when he was in his fingertips a week into just having it splash on him, or cracking and peeling and bleeding everywhere and turning white. And for the guys who are using this stuff on a daily basis, weekly basis, who work inside the concrete yards, that's what they know, this stuff that removes the concrete is going to have that effect on them. Josh, walk me through. I understand you guys don't even wear gloves when you're doing a demo of this stuff to show them how it works. And neither one of you has cracked fingers that I can see right now. But their hands look pretty soft, actually, to go along with that.
That's right.
So what's the deal with that?
Yeah, so it's because it goes back into what the engineering around the product involves. And so one of the requirements built into the engineering is it has to be able to take away concrete, but it also can't take your fingernails off, right? So it just goes back into, is there innovation solution that can be done? And it turns out there was, right? So you can look at a lot of industries that don't have a lot of innovation in them. And so this is one of the areas where I think that we just found an opportunity to provide a solution to a known problem, which is I need to get that concrete off the truck, but I can't use muriatic. And we've had people say that, yeah, you knew it was working because the burning in your lungs, you know, so, and it does, like, it truly, if you want to remove concrete off anything, throw some muriatic acid on it.
Yeah.
But obviously that doesn't work for your health. That doesn't work for the environment. So there was innovation that needed to be done. And so that's where I think, as Matt said, very talented chemical engineer that was able to help provide that solution. But that solution only comes to that engineer by people that are out in the field that could go through, hey, we have a current product, but there's a few requirements that this is missing. So we need to get those requirements fed in to see, is there something we can come up with that can be better? So
yeah, it's cool to see you guys iterating to this solution. There's the whole making the product, and then there's figuring out how do we distribute this.
Yep.
And then of course the brand awareness play. It sounds like something new, natural, that's not bad for you, not toxic, that does the same effect. Well, geez, if everybody knew about this, there'd be a line out the door. But that's never the way business works.
Right.
Unless you get some celebrity to show up and they're going to come in for them, not for you.
Yeah.
So getting that brand awareness out there, what are you guys doing today for brand awareness, and how are people finding out about what you have?
Well, today we're on the Roll with Steve podcast. For brand
That's right. That's right.
going
All the
viral.
concrete bases listen to
Going
this show
viral.
too, by the way. So I know we have 300 or 400 plant operators in the concrete industry. So that's you.
So here we
Get
go.
these guys up. Okay.
There we go. No, I to say it lightly, we've had a couple of our guys that we work with currently, a couple of yards that we partner with. We're simply in an industry full of douchebags, is what we were told. Basically, it's a lot of like 90s sales tactics. Like, we'll take you to a ball game. Here's the product. Like, you guys want to work with us, we'll take care of you. And their product sucks. We approach it a little differently. We spend time with them and just like, but that it's tough to get a lot of face time, because as soon as you walk in, you're like, we have this product that does X. They're already, because they've been so inundated with the same stuff over and over and over again, they're just like, please go away. It was in a nice way, you know, they're good old boys. Now, I would say what gets us into a door with a lot of people is our backgrounds, because we're not salespeople when I show. It's not like I'm wearing some button. This is the first time I'm wearing a button down shirt in a while.
Which I appreciate you putting it on.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yes, thank you.
No, you know, you just go in.
Respect the pod.
We're Matt. Okay. We're Josh. Like, you know, we got t-shirts and jeans on. We're covered in concrete removing stuff because we're working with other drivers at other plants. Like, we got a product that's pretty cool. You guys want to check it out? Or like, but we're not going in there like, oh, you know, here's this nice little thing, and here's a whatever trinkets that they're passing out. And we're not salespeople when we go there. Like, we have a problem, or you guys have a problem. We have a solution. Do you guys want to see what it does? Yes or no? And a lot of times it's been like, well, you guys are different. Sure, come on in. So that's why I like pushing it out on like a phone call or like a video or something like that. Most people are like, yeah, whatever. It's until we get FaceTime with a lot of the actual concrete plants that it's tough. So it has, like, door to door for us has been the most effective way to actually sell this. So that's been our big thing. Now we are starting to move into the 21st century. We do have an Instagram. We are putting out some media as far as starting to like show videos of us applying it and what it actually does, reviews from a lot of our yards. So we're slowly moving towards that next step, if you will, and gaining that brand trust and like trust that we are actually here to solve a problem. We're not here to make a ton of money off of your yard. We're here to solve a problem that you guys have.
Yeah.
Do you want the problem solved, or do you want to stick with the same, we'll use what we got because your product's probably the same. Yeah. So that's kind of the battle that we're been up
Well,
against.
it's the same battle that I feel like anyone who's listening to this, if they're thinking about their business, is going through much the same. It's one thing to build a product and to have a great solution. It's a whole other thing to get your logistics down. And maybe the hardest part for most businesses is, how do people find out that I exist? Because nobody really wants to talk to me that doesn't already know me.
Yeah.
And I'm coming in cold. And those are things that will hold many people back. What I'll call out here is that you're iterating to a solution today. Okay, here's how we get it to work. Here's what we found so far. And you're working on stuff for the future. So when we come back for the Roll with Steve round 2 next year, to see here's what you were doing then versus what you're doing now, to find ways to make it more scalable, to bring it into the 21st century in an industry that doesn't want to leave the 20th century.
Yeah.
It's difficult to make that happen, but I'm curious to see like what you come up with in that time frame.